goes to the ground. Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Najee waits, and a good decision.
See James Johnson turning back the clock on him.
Couple of dunks early, and remember, James Johnson just came over a few weeks ago in the J.J. Redick and Nico Melli deal with the Dallas Mavericks. Schroeder sharing it. Now remember, Anthony Davis hasn't exactly been involved in the offensive end, and you know he's going to get his. 6-point game. LeBron, he came down, but you can't call it travel on him. And it's a three for Dennis Schroeder.
This has the double team has to be better timed. And what I mean by that is if you allow LeBron James to get the ball that deep where he can turn in a restricted area, there's no defense that's going to be able to recover.
Schroeder has started 4 for 4. He's got a quick 10. Hernan Gomez up against Andre Drummond, and a good take. Quick first step.
And you can see what the Lakers are doing. They're milking LeBron on that block. Now you can see they're going to AD on the block.
Tag team. The size advantage working against basically a kind of a 3-4 swing. James Johnson. And coming up short, Anthony Davis. Najee Marshall. Trying to get by LeBron. He will. Gets the roll.
Like I said, there's no such thing as an insignificant game for these young guys. Najee Marshall, undrafted, the first half of the year, averaged 0.3 points per game. These are valuable reps and valuable experience for a guy like Najee Marshall and this young Pelicans basketball team.
Summer's here, and with a great deal on a new Toyota, you can go out and enjoy all your favorite summer sports, like softball, beach volleyball, triathlons, racing, golf. Whoa! Someone needs lessons.
During the Summer Starts Here sales event, get $750 customer cash. Or qualified lessees can lease a new 2021 Highlander L for only $309 a month.
Get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, how's it going?
This is the sound
Such professionals at this.
be listed on the endangered species list for the very first time.
No, I actually cooked for myself today,
This is
like
sound
the
of
good,
rail
responsible
cars
adult that I am.
plummeting by nearly 40% over the last 30
No, not this time.
This is
Maybe
the
next time.
sound of a silent extinction. Break the silence and be heard for the herd.
Yeah, I think we just get on here for like 10 minutes, just eat the sandwich, don't say anything, and then leave.
Dear parents, it's time for
All right, I'm in.
quiz.
This is
Kind of play for kids. Play that makes us think.
there's literally no more pressure on the Lakers than this. Like if they don't repeat, they're depriving the world of two idiots on a live stream eating a sandwich.
These are different kinds of play. Give us different kinds of skills. Help us mix up the ways we play. Okay, class dismissed. Now go play.
We are the heart of the Pelicans, the heart of the fan. Valley Sports, New Orleans.
These young fans are watching.
Drop a Jack in the Box if you're in the stream watching.
Versus the Lakers. Everybody, welcome back to our SeatGeek sideline report here on Valley Sports. You know, we are eagerly awaiting the NBA protocol, their new mandates for what this offseason will look like in terms of training camps, rookie camps, summer leagues. We're still awaiting details, but one thing is for sure, the restrictions will be less. So it'll be much more of a normal offseason, which will benefit tremendously this young New Orleans squad. General Manager Trajan Langdon explained what's next in an exclusive sit-down.
Obviously, we're going to be doing a good amount of traveling to see our guys and our guys coming in and out. So, you know, it may be a day.
Portland is destroying the Nuggets right now.
At the facility, but the tier 1 and tier 2s will drop off, and I think it'll be a lot more regular, especially at the start of the summer. But as guys start to come back, like I said, if they're coming back from
Weird.
places, maybe
Why
it's
would
a
I
day or
hear
two,
you?
but then it's not going to be as strict as it has been throughout this season.
Guys, just imagine this young squad with guys like Didi when they get to have that full NBA offseason experience with all of the expertise the Pelicans have on the coaching staff.
Okay, it should be working now. I've got it pulled up. So
Awesome.
I don't know if it was working or not, but I know it is for sure now. So Yeah, I guess on that window, let me pull up the when nobody cares about the Eastern Conference scores. Clippers are down 10. Are they tanking to get 4 or down 7? Okay, Portland's up 9. All right, so like I was saying just a little bit ago, I like where the offense is at as LeBron gets all the way to the bucket for an easy one. He looks really good so far.
Yep.
Yeah, I like where the offense is at. Dennis looks a lot better so far. He's got his legs back a little bit more, I think. The jumper's been good. He's not missing shots short like he was yesterday. So,
yeah.
So far, so good. Hopefully, we can just see the defense cranked up to level that we know that it can be at. But
yeah, I'm hoping they can just like put together a good first half and get the guys some rest going kind of later in the game.
Yeah.
It's like this Pelicans team without their guys. I mean, even with their guys, they don't really have an option, a way of defending LeBron. There's like nobody at the rim to meet him. But without those guys to kind of keep up with the scoring, I think they shouldn't have much of a chance.
Drummond's got to finish inside. Yeah, I like that play of the Lakers to get LeBron a layup. Basically had him as a pick and roll man. So I like that. It's kind of a interesting little wrinkle. Usually, obviously, you want LeBron kind of handling the ball in those pick and rolls, but
yeah, absolutely.
All right, so timeout. Lakers up 23-16. Again, offense looks really good. Defense kind of hit and miss so far, but sometimes it's hard to judge the Lakers' defense, right? Because everybody becomes like a 70% shooter against the Lakers. They'll hit like fadeaway shots over triple teams, and is what it is. But
it seems like today's main character is James Johnson. So
yeah,
we'll see how that keeps going. He's already got
the Pelicans broadcast did bring up a good point that like obviously the Pelicans are shorthanded and all that, but a lot of these guys that are playing possibly for like a next contract and stuff like that. So they're going to play hard and take advantage of their opportunity to finally get minutes that they might not have gotten throughout the year. So it's going to be more of an effort thing because obviously the Lakers have far more talent than this team that they're playing against tonight. Just got to match the energy and not get outworked and they'll be fine. So let me pull up this Nuggets Blazers box score real quick.
It's not pretty.
Portland up 15. So far, Nuggets look like they have played their guys. Maybe they just are not trying very hard.
Yeah. So Mike Malone said that they are gonna play all their guys and that they're not avoiding anybody, et cetera, et cetera.
But when Jokic ends playing 15 minutes, it's going to be a little sus.
He did also say that there's probably going to be some minutes limitation. So I'm assuming that they might not even play in the second half. And if they're playing like this in the first half, hell, it might be better for them to get the scrubs on the floor. They might have a better chance.
Of course, Portland is shooting 64%, 62% from 3, so I would think that won't keep up, but we'll see. So, kind of need some help in that game. I'm actually really rooting for. I mean, it'd kind of be a win, I think, too, to see the Thunder up 30-20 against the Clippers. If the Thunder do win that game, that knocks the Clippers down to 4, which means that the Lakers, the earliest the Lakers could see the Clippers would be the Western Conference Finals, assuming they win the play-in game and get the 7th seed. If they get the 8th seed, then you could see them in the second round still. So.
Yeah, and that might be the Clippers thinking. That is a tank pool for all tank pools. The Clippers are. I think they played Zoo a grand total of like a possession. I don't know exactly when he got subbed out, but just to get them to 72 games for the season.
Yeah, it's just such a weird thing to me.
I don't know. Maybe he has a bonus.
I guess, man. a little incentive in there. It is good to see Caruso back out there, even though he just missed the three-pointer. But
how meaningful these games have become, but also there are some teams that are trying to avoid some other teams in the process. And you can see it.
the Pelicans broadcast right now is just talking about teams avoiding other teams. And Joel Myers, former Laker broadcaster, Laker legend, said in response, it's like I don't know who the color commentator is for the Pelicans, but he was like, there are definitely some teams avoiding other teams right now. And Joel Myers goes, just ask the Clippers.
That's awesome.
Joel Myers, still a Laker at heart. It is good to see the Lakers wear purple, though. Like on the road, like the traditional.
Yeah.
Like I know I've tweeted about it, but I don't hate the blue jerseys or the white and blue jerseys or anything like that. I just like the yellow and purple. I like the traditional color combo, you know.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just I don't really even care about which one you wear on the road and which one you wear at home, really. But there's some just interesting combinations that happen because of that. Where like the Lakers all of a sudden end up wearing the yellow jerseys on the road and Golden State on a very yellow court.
Yeah,
Like zero sense at all.
and that's the thing too. Is like I feel like you have to have a court that at least somewhat matches it.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue with the classic jerseys. I think that blue and white ones, because it never really works with the court.
Yeah,
I love those jerseys. Like they're beautiful, but.
Marc Gasol for three. Gasol looking pretty good so far. Had a really nice pass down to Caruso on the backdoor cut for a layup. Now hits a three. I love Marc Gasol, man. I hope the Lakers can get another Gasol a ring. That'd be awesome.
Be the best. I love it.
The Gasol family. We don't deserve those people.
What was the third one's name? Bring him next year.
Sign the parents too. That was a good pass by Kuzma to set up that Gasol three. Passed up a contested shot to get Gasol wide open.
Having some technical difficulties with my TV, so you are my play-by-play. It's great stuff.
Really liking where the Lakers offense is at, though. It's KCP hits a little elbow jumper. Just getting better shots, it seems like.
Yeah, I guess it helps out the LeBron guy. Huh?
Good Lord. I like how it's like all these like kind of younger guys playing for the Pelicans and then randomly Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah. Talking to our guy Jacob Rude, who covers the Pelicans for Alonzo Wire. Eric Bledsoe is like the bane of his existence watching this team. So I'm sure he's really enjoying watching a Pelicans team without its five best players and also having Eric Bledsoe still play.
Sounds like a fun time to me. Although Bledsoe is kind of carrying him right now.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
the
he
Rockets
really dropped off a cliff at some point.
Yeah, the Rockets lost by 29 tonight to the Atlanta Hawks, which makes me wonder. Really makes you wonder about that Clippers game even more.
But more important than that, Cameron Oliver had a double-double in that game, 10 and 12.
I shouldn't have brought up that game.
Another monster dunk. I'm just saying. He's not on a training camp roster next year. I'm rioting. Ideally, the Lakers training camp roster.
KCP is a little lost in the paint. Good take by Kuz. So the Lakers are looking at a 35-plus point quarter once again.
Yep.
Just really nice to see the offense get going a little bit, right? Just in time.
Yeah, I think not only is it just the big guys coming back, and especially LeBron, but I think having two pretty easy games to finish out the season is nice. It just lets everybody get into a good flow against some teams that are not very interested in playing defense. So.
It almost feels like ancient history that Anthony Davis played for this franchise. Like, it feels like it happened so long ago now.
The Lakers tweeted out, I think, just a picture of AD, and it had some sort of like back in the Big Easy, and I'm like, oh yes, Anthony Davis used to play for the Pelicans.
Lifelong Laker Anthony Davis.
Exactly.
The first, I don't know, however many years of his career did not happen. All right, let's check in on Denver, Portland. Portland up 43-22 after one. So it's looking like the Lakers are going to get the 7th seed unless something drastic happens there. And so really at this point, the only game, I guess, to keep an eye on is that Clippers game. Because if they stay at 4, then kind of paints a picture for the Lakers if they get to the second round. So,
yeah, the Utah game is a little important too. If they lose, the Suns get the top seed. And
that is true. The Lakers will get Utah.
Yeah. So.
All right, so Lakers up 36-28 after one. Like we said, the offense has looked really good so far. Scroll down, so bring up the box score here. Just looking at some numbers. Anthony Davis played the whole quarter. I guess an encouraging sign is the Lakers scored 36 points and shot very, very well. Looks like 60% overall, 15-25. And Anthony Davis only had 2 points, 1 of 3 shooting. I guess I can mute the game audio during commercial. LeBron had 8 points, 4 of 7 shooting, so he looked pretty good. A couple of assists. Schroeder looked really good, 4 of 4 in 6 minutes of action. KCP played all 12 minutes and also had 7 points. Couple good showings there early off the bench for Kuzma, Gasol, and Caruso. Lakers have only gone 8 deep so far, but I'm sure they'll dive deeper into the bag here as this game goes along, and especially if they are able to blow this thing open. For the Pelicans, Bledsoe right now has 12 points. Hernan Gomez has 7, and that's pretty much it for the Pelicans. Some minor contributions elsewhere, but yeah, I mean, offense looks really good so far, and I think that's the most encouraging thing probably within these last 2 games.
Yeah, that, and as far as this game is concerned, Dennis Schroeder having a 10-point quarter and not a lot of minutes is pretty encouraging as well. So he had a pretty rusty return yesterday, so he's 4 of 4 from the field right now. I think for me, other than just getting a win and giving yourself a chance, which actually, I mean, I might not even care about the win anymore at this point because it seems like the Blazers are gonna just blow the Nuggets out of the water. But other than that, it's just get out of the game healthy and hope the shooter kind of keeps this going so that you got everybody in a pretty good flow headed into the play-ins this week.
Mm-hmm. I want the win just because I want us to have, what would it be, 5, 6 plus the play-in plus 16, a nice 22-game win streak to end the season and go back-to-back.
Good quick math.
Very, very difficult math I had to figure out there. Yeah, I mean, we'll obviously keep an eye on some of these other games. It's Wesley Matthews buries a triple. Lakers up 11. I think the Pelicans shot about 55% in that first quarter, and they were down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's got to be pretty discouraging for them. But we will see. If the Lakers just crank it up a little bit defensively, I could see them really running away with this and really blowing this thing open early, which would be good.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I'm sure they're having people check the score of the other games too. So even if they don't, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron and AD don't play the second half. If that Nuggets and Blazers score seems to kind of be going the same way.
Yeah. I was really, really hoping, because I had a great tweet lined up, if the Lakers still somehow got the 6th seed over Portland, because they were all bragging about the tiebreaker that they got. I had a really, really great tweet, but I'll just have to save it in case the Lakers are in the second round and Portland gets knocked out in the first round.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody over on Twitter about what would be the funniest outcome. One, I guess neither way of what I wanted is going to happen. One of them was the Nuggets. Oh, fucking hell.
Again, my feed is a little behind. Honi maybe having some technical difficulties, but it's not a Laker game until Dennis gets in a little kerfluffle, man. I feel like it's like every game now with Dennis. Which, he did get fouled kind of hard there. Don't blame him for being upset, but Dennis is a dog, man. He's an absolute dog, and that's one thing I like about him. I know some fans have been frustrated with his antics and stuff like that this season with the COVID protocols and whatnot, but I've been pleasantly surprised all year with Dennis, his play on the court and his mentality and stuff like that. So, like I said, he's a dog. I like it. All right, so Honi left. So I'm sure he'll be back shortly. So you're stuck with just me for a little bit. Nice pass from Gasol down to Wesley Matthews. Love Marc Gasol's playmaking, man. Really, really do. That also adds a little different dynamic. Something that the Lakers didn't really have much of last year. There he is.
Hey, technology is not my friend. Good Lord.
I don't remember what you were talking about, but...
Me neither. That's not a point.
All right, so we're in a timeout. Lakers up 41-30. Wesley Matthews just got a nice little layup off of a screen, or kind of a little hip check and pass down from Marc Gasol. Really glad those two have been more a consistent part of the rotation the last week or so, because I think they should be part of the playoff rotation. And especially with the time off that they essentially got not being in the rotation, you'd think that that was kind of by design, and I think that they should be pretty fresh going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. I think at a certain point, especially once the Lakers signed McLemore and Drummond, Vogel basically knew what he had in those guys, which, they've been in the league forever. You kind of know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and they played a decent amount with the Lakers rotation guys, the other rotation guys. So you kind of know what you have in them, and I think he just mostly wanted to get as many reps for the new guys as possible. So going into the playoffs, I'm definitely expecting West to play a lot of minutes over McLemore especially. I think they're just going to really need his defense and his three-point shooting as well. Not quite as quick of a release or as reliable as McLemore is as a three-point shooter, but I think everything else that he gives you is worth the trade-off.
Yeah.
And then Mark, we've kind of talked about it a lot, but it's just a matter of what matchups work for him. Same thing with Drummond and same thing with Montrez. It's just a game by game and series by series basis, I think, for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, as obviously as frustrating as rotations can be, because you think, this guy should play more, this guy should play less, blah blah blah. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can't play LeBron and AD 40 minutes a night. You're not Tom Thibodeau. So you got to manage that stuff. You got to think long term while balancing the game that you're playing. So I think Frank Vogel and his staff has done a really good job of that. And as we saw, I mean, last season and into the playoffs and how they just handled everything, I think they've definitely earned the trust of Lakers fans everywhere, and just gotta have faith that they know what they're doing. So,
yep.
The Pelicans broadcast has David Griffin on. They're interviewing him right now. I have the sound muted because I don't give a shit what that guy has to say. But there's something poetic about David Griffin having to sit there and watch a LeBron James team getting ready to go into the playoffs to try and go back-to-back while David Griffin's team's not going to be in the playoffs or even make the play-in game after his comment about LeBron isn't the same animal about winning anymore or whatever he said. So
yeah, but just incredible. LeBron manufactures his own motivation a lot, but having a guy like David Griffin go out there and say that is just beautiful, just a little extra bonus to get the most out of LeBron. And definitely did last year, and I'm looking forward to getting it this year too.
Wesley Matthews is out here making plays, man.
Love that dude.
Because Wes doesn't have a ring, right?
No, because I think he went from...
He's been on some good teams, but just hasn't been on a title team.
He went to from the Blazers to the Mavs to the Bucks to the
right.
Lakers, I think. I guess last year would have been his best chance before this one. And then the Bucks did their thing.
Did the thing that the Bucks do. So right now the Lakers are kind of... Oh, that should have been looked like a travel on Jackson Hayes. But Lakers are kind of holding the fort down right now. I mean, they're up 10, 46-36. THT just made another layup. I love that kid, man.
Yeah, gamer.
Something about number 5, man. That jersey's just got some powers. You got to have just some kind of special characteristic about you if you wear number 5.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we get LeBron back into the game. So, I mean, good news is bench lineup didn't give up really any kind of damage with the main guys out. So get some of the big guns back in the game and hopefully blow this thing open a little bit.
Yep.
All right, let's do a little scoreboard. Watching Denver's cut it to 18, so they're chipping away. The Thunder are up 3-4. Midway through the second quarter on the Clippers. I guess the Jazz game is worth watching. They are up 8 against Sacramento midway through the second quarter. So the seed's taking shape. It's crazy though. Going into today, there was one seed locked into place.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was it the Celtics?
Yeah,
maybe the Heat. One of them.
Wesley Matthews again, man. I love seeing LeBron hit those deep threes because that, we saw that last year in the playoffs, right? With the jumper. Went through a little stretch in the playoffs where the jumper didn't seem like he just had any kind of confidence in it. And then got it back at the perfect time in that Game 5 against Denver to really close out that series. So if he has confidence in that jumper, man, it just takes him to an unstoppable level. And it's what the Lakers are probably going to need to repeat, is just having him at his peak. And if he's feeling good about that jumper, it just opens up everything else for him. So. I feel like I need more monitors so I can watch 3 games at once.
I'm obviously doing this, watching the game, tweeting on my phone. information over them.
They're still interviewing David Griffin, and I have no idea why. I mean, I guess he has a lot to answer for, but...
Why did you immediately give an extension to Steven Adams? Wow.
At least they have those draft picks, right? Those late first rounders from the Lakers. Oh, that looked like a kick ball. Okay. This game is all over the place right now. I'm a little behind the play-by-play, but there's just like turnovers galore here.
Yeah, it's not the best played game of basketball.
I wonder if Oklahoma City has anything to gain from losing this game, or if they're like set in their position.
It's a good question. Let's find out. Can't catch the Rockets. Oh, they're tied with the Magic right now.
And the Magic are going to lose. I'm pretty sure they got beat, right? Where's their game at?
They could also tie the Pistons.
Yeah, the Magic lost to the Sixers today.
Oh, really?
Not too long ago. Let's see. Utah's up 10. Portland's up 20. Oklahoma City up 5.
I guess my app might not be updated then, because it still shows the Magic as having played 71 games. Just the standings aren't accurate.
Wow, that was actually one of the more acrobatic finishes I think I've seen out of Drummond.
It's weird. Like sometimes he'll pull out some crazy finishes, and then sometimes he'll just completely miss the easiest ones. I don't think I've ever seen a big guy that is, for lack of a better word, as bad as him at finishing at the rim. It's kind of crazy.
He just set like a monster screen. I don't know who just ran into that brick wall, but I feel bad for them. All right, so we've just been holding steady at about 10.
Yeah.
Defense has gotten a little bit better, though. Field goal percentage has dropped for both teams here in the second quarter. Lakers are hitting their threes, which is good, but just both teams shooting a good percentage, even though the second quarter hasn't been as good. And I don't know who that was that just shot off the side of the backboard for New Orleans, but this game has been a little funky, for lack of a better word. So
yeah,
been a lot of sloppy play so far. I really want Najee Marshall. It's a 3, so 6-point game. Pelicans are kind of hanging around. It's not what you want to see, but at the end of the day, you just want the Lakers to keep shaking off the rust, keep getting a little bit better as the game goes along, and just figure some stuff out. Because on Wednesday, most likely, unless the Nuggets pull off a really big comeback, it's the games are going to really start to count. So
yeah. Man, it's going to be crazy. I don't know if the NBA was expecting something like this, but getting the draw of LeBron versus Steph in your playing game,
yeah,
I mean, it's not completely a winner go home, but as close to it as you can get, basically.
Well, you know the NBA is going to want those guys to both win, right? Like they want LeBron probably at the 7, Steph at the 8. Who knows? Maybe history repeats itself. We get the Warriors at 8, and they upset the 1 seed, like we saw in, what was that, 07, I think? Against Dallas.
Yeah, 07, because that's the year Dirk won his MVP.
Yeah, We Believe Warriors. All right, so Pelicans have creeped back in. They're only down 4. Right as I said, the Lakers have been kind of holding serve at about 10. The Pelicans going make a little push and get back within 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. So Lakers got some work to do, but, you know, like I said, I mean, the win at the end of the day isn't probably going to mean a whole lot because we needed Denver to win for it to really mean anything, and right now Denver's down, as you can see on the screen there, 23 with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. So, barring something pretty incredible, it's looking like the Lakers are going to finish 7th, which gives them a chance to be the lowest seed ever to win the title. We Believe, Volume 2.
It's awesome, man. All I'm saying is Michael Jordan never won the championship after winning a play-in game. This is just solidifying LeBron's position as the greatest of all time.
While also filming and promoting Space Jam 2.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's take a look at some stats here. Lakers are still shooting 54% and only up by 4, 50% from the three-point line. Like I said, it's just been kind of so far. Not a ton of defense being played so far in this game, but it's just been kind of all over the place. There was a stretch there where I feel like there was about 3 turnovers in about 12 seconds. So, yeah, it's been a very, very strange game, but we're seeing flashes here and there, and LeBron looks good, which is probably honestly the most important thing because we've seen enough out of Anthony Davis the last couple weeks to believe that he's back, or at least very close to being back to 100%. It's all about getting LeBron to that same level. So, and Dennis to an extent. And Dennis has been pretty damn good in this game. I mean, he's only missed 1 shot so far. So, all right, we are out of the timeout. I also apologize if there's a stream delay too, which could be really behind like people's like TV broadcasts, or if you're watching on a stream or whatever. Not much I can do about that. It's just kind of the nature of streaming. So, I would like to see a run here to end the second quarter, though.
It's some of the weirdest plays I've ever seen.
I'm looking forward to it. What in the world was that pass? Like I said, man, this game has been a roller coaster. It's all over the place. Personally, I think that should be legal. I think we should just adopt the FIBA rules. I've been wanting.
I'm so into that.
I wanted the NBA to do that for quite some time, though. It would make the game so much more fun.
you got the best athletes in the world that can routinely jump and reach 10, 11 feet in the air. Why not have them fucking dunk those loose balls all the time?
Right?
It's incredible.
It would be so much more exciting, and then you wouldn't potentially have a game, be cost because of a missed call where they thought it was over the cylinder and it wasn't, or whatever. Like, you just make it a rule, and you don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah, one less thing to review, which is always a good thing.
Yeah. Especially if the NBA does go next year to the whole, if you win your challenge, you get another challenge, which I do like. I think, as much as I love me some NBA reviews, I do think coaches should, if you are successful, you should get another one.
Yeah.
I like how after we praised the offense in the first quarter, the Lakers have scored 18 points in about 10 minutes in this quarter. Hopefully Drummond's okay. It looked like maybe got a knee to the thigh.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That does not feel good. I have experienced that way too many times in my life playing basketball. Oh, yeah, ow.
Yeah, knee to the thigh, knee to knee.
Yeah, the knee to
I took a
knee.
knee to the chest one time. Man.
How did you do that?
So, we were playing soccer. This was my freshman year of high school and in gym class. Playing soccer, and I was just running down the pitch, getting a long ball, trying to put it past the keeper, and the keeper comes out for it. And keeper's this big senior, and I was scrawnier than I am now, much scrawnier than I am now, and he lifts up his knees as he's kind of coming up to catch the ball, and I run chest first into his knee. Got the wind knocked out of me, and I never went to get it checked, but I had sore, bruised ribs for a very long time.
Nice. Love me some LeBron and AD on the break, man.
Yep, never gets old.
What I don't like is Najee Marshall making 3-point shots. So we got a James Johnson technical foul. I have not seen it yet, so... And Anthony Davis missed the technical free throw. I feel like my favorite teams miss the technical free throw way too often. Doesn't it just feel like that? Other teams never miss them, and then your team shoots 42% on technical free throws.
Just feels like the Lakers have stunk at shooting free throws for a decade now.
It's just a product of my favorite teams. North Carolina has sucked at free throws for 15, 20 years now, so and has somehow won 3 national championships while being awful at free throws.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
Dude, this game, I don't want to say it's drunk. It's definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
It's this game has been wild. I also don't like the fact that it's right in sync with the Denver-Portland game. I was hoping it would at least be a few minutes off.
Yeah. They really care about people not tanking, even though everybody's tanking.
The Clippers gave up 62 points to the Thunder in the first half. They trailed by 2.
That's elite level tanking. That's off to them.
Ooh. Oh, okay. I thought they weren't going to call that foul on KCP, but yeah. Silly foul there.
Yup.
All right, so the Lakers can hold for the last shot. So worst case scenario, they're going to be up 5. Looks like going into halftime. About that. I meant 4. Even the play-by-play didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Dennis has had some really, really good passes so far in this game, but I cannot believe he just threw that in. Oh, unbelievable. All right, so halftime. What is Najee Marshall shooting so far in this game? 5 of 8.
69%. Yeah.
4 of 5 from the 3-point line. 14 points. Interesting. All right, well, Lakers are up by 4 after that Hail Mary was answered. 63-59 at the break. Honi, what kind of stood out for you there in the first half?
Main thing I think is just LeBron really looking really athletic for the second game in a row. Obviously, we felt really really good about how he played last night or yesterday. I guess not. It was 10 in the morning, but it's good to kind of see him on a back-to-back still be able to make those crazy athletic plays. He's kind of been dominating this game. So, that's the main takeaway for me. That's just like we said earlier, that's probably the biggest thing to look for right now. And it's just a really good convincing performance from him.
Yeah, I think we've seen LeBron and Dennis
second before, but we
look like LeBron and Dennis, which is the most important thing. So, yeah, I mean, overall, offensively, we said this yesterday, but the offense has really had its peaks and valleys throughout the season. So to see it be pretty good the last couple of games, obviously they're playing some not so great teams that are also kind of shorthanded, and so you'd expect it to be. But it's good to get like some tune-up games, I think, going into these games that really matter. I also think that the Warriors, assuming the Lakers play the Warriors, Nuggets are down 16. Looks like going into halftime they are reviewing a potential foul. Looks like just before the buzzer maybe in Portland, so it might be more than 16, but I just kind of put that game on. But looks like they are calling a foul. So, but yeah, going into the Warriors, the Lakers are probably going to, I would imagine they play Anthony Davis at the 5 a lot in that game, which kind of eliminates, I think, well, maybe not eliminates, but it makes playing small like the Warriors like to do much more difficult when you have to deal with AD at the 5.
Yeah, the Warriors obviously with Wiseman out, they are mainly playing Draymond Green at center. You can kind of go about it two different ways. I think you could say that we're going to play super big and try to dominate you down low and on the glass. I know today found it really funny after the game, which the Warriors won, because Steph Curry went just crazy late in the game. Draymond Green was talking his shit about teams trying to go big against him and him holding his own and whatever, and walked off the interview after saying that. And then I went and looked at the box score, and Jonas Valanciunas said 29 and 16. So you, I could see the Lakers, at least for stretches, kind of trying to go big to get that sort of advantage. But having said that, I don't think Drummond is the right kind of player for that, and I don't think Marc Gasol is the right kind of player for that. They're both kind of slower around the perimeter, and I really don't want to see them guarding pick and rolls with Steph Curry at all. I think that's an awful mismatch for us. So I think for the majority of that game, you're going to see AD play center minutes. You could even go crazy small in the minutes that AD doesn't play and have LeBron playing center. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I would expect Vogel to go with, and then maybe just give a few minutes here and there to try and have Drummond rebounding really give the Warriors some trouble as well.
Yeah, 80 at the 5 definitely adds just a totally different dynamic to what the Lakers can do defensively. Obviously, offensively, it gives them a ton of space to work with and a lot of versatility and stuff like that. As we saw just last year in the playoffs, or last year at all in general, when they played AD at the 5, they were at their best. And offensively, they can do a lot of stuff. But defensively, having AD be able to show hard on some of those screen and roll actions and really eliminate just kind of the pull-up three that Steph can do. And I mean, the biggest thing I think was evidenced by the Portland series, right? Like, that's a similar type matchup with how Lillard plays compared to Steph plays, because they both have unbelievable range as shooters and can pull up from anywhere on the floor and can get red hot and can be absolutely lethal. So you saw how the Lakers defended in that series, and I think that's a similar formula to how they're going to have to play Golden State in the play-in game. AD showing out hard on these screen and rolls and just communication on these screens, because Memphis definitely lost Steph a lot there late in that game and let him get some wide open, clean looks at the basket, and they paid a dear price for it. So, get AD at the 5 a lot. I mean, hell, maybe you play a little bit of LeBron at the 5, and you play super fast lineups and stuff like that. I think that's probably going to be their best bet against Golden State, and you can limit Curry. I think you'll be fine. I mean, honestly, if the Lakers have even an average shooting game, I think Steph's going to have to score at least probably 40 or so, unless they get some unexpected big time contributions elsewhere.
Yeah, I think if you really don't let any of the other role players go off against you, you should be pretty fine. Steph's going to get his, and obviously you want to try to lower his impact as much as possible. You don't want him going off for 60 points. But if he's the only player really putting up numbers for the Warriors, and a guy like Andrew Wiggins isn't going off, or even Draymond or Kelly Oubre or whoever else, then I think the Lakers should be fine. I think they can out talent them as long as they're not getting killed by an unexpected player.
Yeah, it's just a little. I don't know. It's a little concerning, obviously, because Steph is capable of basically just putting a team on his back, especially for a single game, and pulling off an upset. And because he can light it up, and if he gets hot, I mean, he's greatest shooter I think the game has ever seen, and you don't want to play with fire like that. And that's why I think a lot of Laker fans are probably rooting for Memphis today, just because Memphis doesn't really have that type of capability. They're probably better in some areas than Golden State is, but they don't have a Steph Curry. As much as I love Ja Morant, plus, I mean, I think you tweeted about this Memphis has Dylan Brooks, which would automatically like amp LeBron's level of play up right away.
Yeah, exactly. You know, LeBron's already playing pretty well, but if you saw Dylan Brooks in front of him, I think we'd be seeing that look on his face against the Celtics when he was with the Heat. However many years ago, I think we'd be seeing one of those all-time great performances.
LeBron with like a 60, 30, 20 game just for Dylan Brooks. All right. So a lot of these games are at halftime. Denver did chip away a little bit there. Looking at the box score, I've had it pulled up on the screen here for a minute. Apparently, Jokic is the only player that decided to show up today. He has 21 points and really not much else anywhere else. I mean, MPJ has 9 points, and then the other 3 starters had 2 points apiece. Millsap 5 points. JaMychal Green had 8 points, and Monte Morris had 6 points. So not a ton of contributions. Really, the Nuggets shooting the ball very poorly. Meanwhile, Portland shooting the lights out right now, 56% from the field, 47.6% from the three-point line. So on 21 attempts. So hopefully the shooting balances out a little bit, and hopefully Denver gets hot there in the second half, because it would be hilarious if after all this talk about the Lakers in the play-in, it doesn't happen, and hopefully Portland decides to choke that game away. So
it would be incredible. It'd be incredible if they lose that game, drop into the play-ins, and then lose 2 straight and miss out on the playoffs. That would be
yeah, Clippers and Thunder, I believe, are still at halftime. Thunder leading by 2, so that game has a little bit of significance for the Lakers. Obviously, if the Thunder win that game, the Clippers drop to 4, and then if the Lakers do end up at 7 and win their first play-in game, the Clippers would be on the other side of the West bracket, which means the Lakers wouldn't see them until the Western Conference Finals if both teams make it. We thought both teams would make it last year, but the Clippers blew a 3-1 series lead to the Denver Nuggets in the second round. It's important to remind people of that because people forget it.
They absolutely do. You are very correct. Yeah, so playoff standings right now, if all the scores hold, it would be Utah, Phoenix, Denver, the Clippers, Dallas, Portland, the Lakers, Golden State, Memphis, and San Antonio. So if the Lakers do win that first play-in game, they would be playing against the Suns in the first round, and then they would be playing against the winner of Denver and Portland.
Mm-hmm.
And really the only game that seems to be in contention right now is that Thunder Clippers game. So you could see, if the Clippers do come back and win that game, they could finish as the 3rd seed. And then that would be the potential second round matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if the Thunder do actually decide to win, which they haven't done, I think the only team that they've beaten in, I want to say the last month or 2 was the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, they've lost
a ton of games.
It was 28 of 29 or some crap like that. It's insane. I mean, I'm actually going to look.
It's honestly you just tip your cap to some high quality tanking. It's kind of unbelievable. We've seen some crazy tanking. They've taken it to quite a level there.
They've lost 23 of their last 24, and yes, their only win since the start of April was against the Celtics on the road. That is insane. I don't think I've ever seen any. I don't even remember the process Sixers being that bad for that extended amount of a time.
Yeah, I don't know if they lost that many games. I mean, they might have gone on. Didn't they? They did go on I think a 20-game losing streak or something close to that.
They might have. They had some awful seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, hey, at least the Thunder have 900 draft picks in the next 10 drafts or whatever. So
most of these games aren't even close. That's the crazy part. I think in May they had one loss to the Suns by 3 and one loss to the Kings by 4. Everything else is by double digits.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. So, speaking of that game, second half underway for the Thunder and the Clippers. Clippers briefly took the lead. Looks like the Thunder might be shooting free throws to tie. So we'll keep an eye on that. Utah looks like they're probably going to win and hold serve at and stay at the 1 seed in the West. They're up 15 at the half against the Kings. I'll be curious to see if Luke Walton retains his job after that game. See what happens to him. The Kings are just in a dark place, man. Dark place.
Yeah, I think the last time they made the playoffs was the year that Twitter was invented. That's right. It's insane. Like,
that's bad.
Genuinely, I was in elementary school.
We had somebody on Facebook telling us to show the game. I cannot show the game for legal reasons.
Hey man, we're still trying to make it.
I think I can play audio from the game. I cannot actually show the game, or I will be dealing with the repercussions from probably the Lakers and the National Basketball Association. So
good. I got a word to say to Mr. Adam Silver. I didn't even realize Dallas is playing right now too, and they're losing to the Mavs. But I don't think that is going to matter.
Yeah.
If the Portland score holds, and this one holds. Oh, actually, yes, it does. It does matter if Dallas loses, Portland wins, and the Lakers lose, then Portland is actually the 5 seed.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, because it's Portland has the head-to-head tiebreaker over Dallas, but when it's a 3-way tie, there's the division winner, so then Dallas would be first.
So it's crazy. They would need the Lakers to win then, right? To make it a 3-way tie?
They would need... Oh, yes, you're right. The Lakers and the Blazers would both have to win, and Dallas would have to lose, which is what is happening right now. So I guess...
Yeah. Chris Walker on YouTube says, Kings have been perpetual losers with decent drafts but bad player development. That is true. I mean, they've drafted some like really fun players like De'Aaron Fox, and they've had some like good young players, especially here as of late, but
they've had some bad drafts too, though. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, I think Bagley is probably a fine player, but when you're drafting him over Luka Doncic, that's
and Trae Young.
And Trae Young, yeah. De'Aaron Fox is I think a good player. I think he's going to be an all-star pretty soon, especially if the Kings can get a little bit better or if he goes somewhere else. But other than that, it's pretty bleak. Like, I don't remember. I think the last Kings player to even be an all-star as a King was Marcus Cousins, and they traded him at that all-star.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the infamous Lakers would not trade Brandon Ingram for him, and everybody laughed, but turned out to be pretty smart. So
I remember doing a podcast that night. I think that came out on my old laptop. That sounded like an airplane taking off.
All right, so Pelicans are back within 2. Lakers got to figure it out here a little bit. Just haven't been super sharp after the first quarter, but got KCP to hit a 3 here, so that's maybe something gets him going a little bit. I love when we get KCP open looks, man. I wish we could get him some more looks because he's been really, really good to finish off the season here, and hopefully we see that same guy that we saw in the playoffs last year. Outside of that first game against Portland, man, he was just absolute money from that point on.
Yeah, I think he is one of the players that is most missing having JaVale and Dwight on the roster, because those, like, the curls he had around those guys, where he basically had the option of rising up to shoot or driving to the rim and either finishing or throwing up the little lob to those guys was money for a while.
Hmm.
You know, the Lakers don't really have that sort of player for them this year, other than AD, I guess, but they don't really run those together very much.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We're getting a little coach's challenge, I think.
Yeah. I appreciate the effort there by Dennis Schroeder, but in a fairly meaningless game, let's maybe not have some of our starting players take charges on guys going full speed like that. That was a little scary. That could have ended badly.
Yeah, both guys.
Jimmy on Facebook, I just mentioned this. We are not able to show the game for legal purposes. I apologize. I would show it if I could, but that's probably the quickest way to get our account banned on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Could the Lakers be scoreboard watching and thus the effort? I mean, that's possible, right? You know, because you go into a game knowing you need help. You kind of start to think about, are we going to get that help and whatnot? But as much as players might say, you know, we can only focus on our business and focus on what we can control, there's probably a little natural curiosity about what's going on around the league and if they're getting the help that they need.
Exactly, yeah. It definitely seems like they know. There was some shots of them like talking on the bench, and I mean, I'm very much speculating, but it definitely seemed like they had some sort of idea of what was going on in those games.
Which usually arenas will have like scores kind of posted, so they're probably looking up and checking those because it's not like they can hop on their phone and stuff like that. So, all right, so the call stands. Lakers charge with a timeout, and they have no more challenges. So
nice.
We almost got Dennis killed and lost a timeout and a challenge all in the same play. Not ideal sequence there, but I'm still holding out hope that Denver at least inches their way back in that game. They're down 16 with 10:30 left in the third, so not unreasonable. But as Portland hits a three, of course. I'm just going to stop mentioning that game because I feel like when I don't talk about it, Denver starts to kind of creep back a little bit. So
I think Jokic didn't start the second half. Neither did Michael Porter Jr., Campazzo, or Aaron Gordon. So I think they are pretty much done.
Throwing in the towel, waving the white flag.
Yeah.
It's all right. Basketball karma. It's coming.
That's right. That's right.
You duck an opponent, you're going to get beat by the opponent that you got as a result of that. That's how it works.
Yep.
Or at least maybe the second opponent in the Clippers case.
Yeah, either way, that's the best part about this. Either way, one of those two guys, if the Lakers end up winning in the first round, gets the Lakers in the second round. So whatever happens, we can call it basketball karma.
Which is crazy. I mean, obviously, you know, I get it. Like, you know, you want the Lakers to have to go through the play-in and then another opponent and then maybe get to you. But at the same time, you're probably going to have to beat the Lakers if you want to win the Western Conference and go to the NBA Finals. Wouldn't you want the Lakers in the first round given their injuries and working guys back in to line up in the rotation and stuff like that?
100%. I don't understand at all why these teams are avoiding them in the first round when they get a team that hasn't really played much together at all. Still incorporating some new guys with their two stars. A guy like Schroeder coming back after, well, we don't really know if he had COVID or not.
Yeah, his comments were a little confusing about that, but
very confusing. Yeah, so I don't know. If I were them, I would absolutely want the Lakers in the first round. But I guess the thinking is maybe a different team beats them, and then we just don't have to play them at all. So
Yeah. All right, so AD knocks down a couple free throws. And then Drummond picks up a foul. Lakers can't seem to get a little run going. I'm waiting for them to hit that gear. I feel like it's going to come at a point this second half where they kind of crank it into that fifth or sixth gear, whatever you want to call it, that gear that they have that a lot of other teams don't, and see them put on a run against these guys. But have yet to see it so far.
yeah, honestly, I'm kind of getting to the point where I just want everybody to get benched because I think I would rather avoid injuries. But at the same time, I do love beating the Pelicans.
Not very long ago, like a few weeks ago, NBA Twitter was somehow mentioning again that the Pelicans won the AD trade somehow. As the defending NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers watched Anthony Davis start obliterating teams once again.
Yeah.
NBA Twitter's a weird place, man.
Very much so. Lakers could have won that title and then gone back to being a 30-win team for another decade straight, and I would still say they won that trade.
Especially because the Pelicans aren't going to get a title in that time frame.
Exactly. Oh my God. As great as LeBron has been, he has had, I think, 2 or 3 layups now that have just like rolled around the rim and dropped out. Very unlucky.
It was really, really good box out by KCP on Hernan Gomez there against a bigger guy. Love to see that, the fundamentals and stuff like that. And speaking of fundamentals, I don't know what Drummond was really doing defensively there, but I don't know what anybody's doing defensively right now, but
yeah. Not anything, I think, is the appropriate.
It's been a very odd game.
I think this is the second straight game Markieff hasn't played in, too. Which is kind of interesting.
I still think Markieff's going to be an important piece in the playoffs.
I think he'll have his moments again. 3-point shooting being as bad as it has been recently is very concerning, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think he'll, especially as the Lakers, we probably see Anthony Davis at the 5 a little more in the playoffs. I think Markieff being that guy at the 4 will be a good fit for him, and he'll at least space the floor for the Lakers and give them a ton of room to operate on offense. And if he hits his threes, then it kind of takes the Lakers to another level. We saw in the playoffs last year, in the games that he was on, man, like they really took it to another level that other teams just couldn't keep up with. All right, so it's looking like the Clippers are taking somewhat control of their game. They're up 7 now on the Thunder. midway through the third quarter. I think Sam Presti must have marched down to the Thunder locker room at halftime and ripped the team a new one. Like, what the hell do you guys think you're doing winning a basketball game? At least they beat the Celtics. Like, that's all I'll say about the Thunder.
Sure. Exactly.
Yeah, after the Lakers shot 60% in the first quarter, the shooting has not been great since that point. The defense also has not been super sharp as well.
Yeah, everything has kind of just dropped off a little bit. They looked really sharp, I think, in the first quarter. Defense wasn't great, obviously, but overall just more focused. And since then, it's just kind of been a bunch of dudes playing pickup, basically.
I really like LeBron just got another dunk as the pick and roll man. I really like that wrinkle to the offense with Dennis being the ball handler, having LeBron. Because LeBron can pick and pop, he can dive to the basket, and you get him catching the ball on the move, going towards the basket. A lot of defenders are not going to want to get in the way of that.
Yeah, and there was a replay on Spectrum at least. Just before that play, during those Pelicans free throws where LeBron and Schroeder seems to be talking over something, and LeBron was like super animated. I think talking about maybe like the angle of the screens or where he wants to pass on those. So seeing it kind of work almost immediately after that is pretty cool.
If the Lakers' offense is even simplified down to running a bunch of Dennis and LeBron pick and rolls, and then LeBron and AD pick and rolls, you're probably going to get some good results out of just running those two a lot. Dallas's whole offense is basically putting Doncic in the pick and roll all the time. So,
yep,
it's simple but effective, man. If you got the right personnel to do it. All right. Well, at least the Pelicans missed their technical free throw. We're even now, so. That's a tough call on Drummond, though. I would understand why he was upset there.
So LeBron checks out with about 5 minutes left in the third, usual time. Don't know if he'll be back.
Unless Denver starts to really make that game interesting. I'm not going to mention the score because every time I do, Portland hits a three. Which it seems like that's kind of all they've done tonight is just shoot a bunch of threes and make a lot of them. So need him to go ice cold the rest of the way. But I mentioned a minute ago the Clippers were up 7. Oh, I didn't even have to mention anything. Portland just had another 3. Clippers were just up 7. Now they're only up by 3 on the Thunder. Make it 4 for shooting free throws. So Thunder are trying at least. Would be nice to see the Lakers extend this lead a little bit with LeBron on the bench and not put Frank Vogel in an easy spot to where they can just say, that's enough. We'll just start gearing up for Wednesday.
Exactly.
Especially being the second leg of a back-to-back. again, not a traditional back-to-back, seeing as they played super early yesterday, and probably got into, I would imagine they got into New Orleans at a decent time yesterday and got a full night's rest and everything, and very different than, when you get into a city at 2 or 3 in the morning or whatever and have to play the next night. So
Right.
what was that travel call by that? Guess he was demonstrating, but that was just kind of funny to see. Doing a little hop. My heart stops every single time Anthony Davis hits the deck. It is terrifying.
Especially in a now meaningless game.
Yeah.
I guess I don't mind him being out there since he hasn't had the greatest night scoring-wise. Maybe get some rhythm. But I want him out of there pretty soon.
And the Lakers just ran a little pick and roll for AD with KCP setting the screen. So we're just letting everybody kind of mix it up in those pick and rolls.
Awesome. I love it. I love that kind of basketball.
Got AD a dunk. I loved it. Kind of reminds me of when the Lakers against the Celtics, especially in Game 3, the game that Derek Fisher just went nuts in the fourth quarter. They were running those pick and rolls between Fisher and Kobe to try and force a switch. Or if the Celtics did switch, Fisher would just come off of him hard and have either a good jumper or he would go all the way to the rim. So little unorthodox, but it's sometimes, unorthodox is good, and defenses have a hard time trying to adjust to that. So
yeah, I remember that 2013 year that we never talked about. They used to do a lot of Steve Nash setting screens in the post for Dwight Howard, which was always a very interesting little wrinkle.
Heck, we would see Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum with Pau as the ball handler, and Bynum would roll to the basket. Fun times, man.
I think they should have done more of it with Bynum as the ball handler, in my opinion.
Bynum would just step back for 3. All right, so while we're in a timeout, Lakers up 7, 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Some scores around the league that have some stuff to do with the Lakers. The Clippers are up 88-86 going into the fourth quarter over the Thunder. The Blazers are up 98-76 with 3:43 left on the third over the Nuggets, so looking like Portland's going to come away with a win there and stay at 6. Maybe go up to 5. Utah is up 21 with a minute and a half left on the third quarter, so they'll probably keep the 1 seed, which is probably good news for the Lakers in all honesty.
Yeah. I go back and forth a little bit on those teams, but I think I lean towards wanting to play the Suns over the Jazz, just because the Jazz are such a dangerous three-point shooting team, and those types of series, you just never know what's going to happen.
A little more experienced team too, right? Like Phoenix has some young guys that haven't been on that stage yet and played playoff basketball, and you trust that the Lakers might be able to overwhelm them a little bit with their experience and their championship pedigree, and obviously a guy like Chris Paul, you're probably not going to phase that guy too much, but you hope that you can at least phase the young guys. I mean, even a guy like Devin Booker, if you can get him to just play a couple bad games in a series, I think you'll be fine against that team. So, Really, I mean, the only thing in question right now is if the Clippers do lose at Oklahoma City, they would stay at 4 and would be on the opposite end of the bracket for the time being, depending on the Lakers playing game. So, but we'll see. We'll see how the rest of this Lakers game shakes out. They're, just kind of. I don't know. It feels kind of like they're coasting right now. Some sloppy play here and there, but at the end of the day, this game honestly might not even matter. I mean, most likely it's probably not going to matter. So,
yeah, that's very much the way it's going, which is fine. Nice little low-stress game of basketball that I don't really care about anymore.
Yeah, really the only other game I'm watching right now outside of this Laker game is that Clippers game.
Yeah.
I more so just want them to stay at 4 just because I would be fascinated by the potential Clippers Jazz second round matchup more than anything. All right, so it looks like we have another timeout. As you can see on the scoreboard on the right there, poor Anthony Davis just got hit in the chops with the ball, it looked like. 82-75, Lakers lead by 7, 2.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. LeBron has exited the game with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It's part of kind of his normal rotation, so curious to see if he does come back in this game, and I'm curious to see if Anthony Davis plays much longer because that Portland game is not going to go their way. Portland now up 25 with a minute and change left in the third quarter. So, But Oklahoma City just went up 91-88. So, at the very least, I mean, the bracket might kind of shape out kind of nicely for the Lakers on their side of it at least.
All I'm saying is I don't care about the context, but the Pelicans only 2 wins and a stretch of about 25 games being against the Celtics and the Clippers would be just remarkable.
Michael on Facebook, unfortunately we can't broadcast the game. Just for legal purposes, our account would 100% get banned for illegally streaming. Like, we're not contracted with the NBA or the Lakers. We don't have that authority to stream the game itself. So that's why I've got kind of the play-by-play, the scoreboard up, and where we're kind of reacting live to what's going on in the game. So
oh my goodness!
Apparently something crazy just happened. My feed is behind Honi's, so I'm looking forward to seeing how the Lakers just scored. It looks like it was around the basket, so I'm going to assume it was a big-time dunk or something. Did Kuzma just end somebody's career?
Sort of.
See, if we do this for the playoffs, we got to get our feed
we gotta see
lined up somehow.
Oh my goodness! I cannot believe I just watched that.
Oh. Kuzma pulling a Kobe off the backboard to himself. Love it. Love to see it. I personally think that you should get an assist for that too.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got some free throws here. Let me check. Yeah, Utah's not going to lose. So Utah is going to clinch the 1 seed, which is probably good news for the Lakers, assuming they can handle their business on Wednesday against Golden State. Because right now the Thunder are up 6 against the Clippers. I'll be curious to see how badly they want to tank the end of that game. Because I feel like both teams want to lose that game.
Yeah.
So Lakers getting a little bit of separation here, which is good to see. Like we said, it would be nice to see them extend this lead with LeBron not in the game, and hopefully, be able to just ride this one out with LeBron and AD being able to rest up and just get out of this game healthy, and that's really all that matters, just being healthy going into these playoff games, and trust that you can beat any matchup 4 times out of 7.
Yep. And I do, especially if that's what Cruz is going to be doing in the playoffs.
And of course, as I say that, Anthony Davis is reaching down for his right ankle.
Yeah, I am kind of annoyed at a fucking triple teaming Anthony Davis in a game that doesn't matter.
Looks like he retied his shoe, so hopefully nothing crazy. It looks like he's kind of smiling and laughing as he went off the court there with Alex Caruso, so hopefully he's okay. Maybe it's just a stepped wrong kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like he just kind of turned it on an ankle, on a Pelicans player's foot.
Just out of curiosity, I do want to see what Portland is shooting in this game. 57% and 51% from 3. Wow. All right, then. Thanks for nothing, Denver. Now I hope the Lakers get the Nuggets in the second round. I really, really do.
All right. AD is back on the floor, so I guess he's fine.
Honestly, hopefully he's not on the floor too much longer.
Yeah, I think he's just going to play until the end of the quarter and be done. That's what I'm assuming. That's his regular rotation.
See LeBron doing some jump roping on the sideline. That's been a thing we've seen the last 2 games now as part of probably his kind of his rehabilitation process. Probably just keeping that. I guess maybe if they anticipate him going back in the game, that is probably a good way for it to not get stiff or anything like that.
Yep.
Lakers are finishing off the third quarter pretty strong here. Alex Caruso just buried a triple. Put the Lakers up 13. Got a chance here to extend the lead even more. If Caruso's hitting threes, man, he's just such a valuable player. I'm just impressed with how he's been able to continue to expand his game. He's not just a defensive player and you just pray that he gives you something offensively. Like, he's shown like some playmaking chops, and the 3-point shooting has been better this year. And yeah, it's just an impressive player, man. Winning basketball player.
Absolutely. I'm very much looking forward to him having some big playoff games again.
AD with the and one, but misses the free throw. I would love me a stop and a score to end this quarter. No 40-foot bank shots to end the quarter. Especially ones that make me look bad.
I mean, if the Lakers do it, I'd be fine with that.
Well, yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to mention worst case scenario in this situation, so. All right, so we have 1 quarter remaining in this regular season. We're almost there. We've almost made it. 70, very compact 72-game season that included a lot of overtime games for the Lakers. So hopefully this is not one of them.
Oh God! Don't even say that.
I shouldn't have spoken into existence. But 1 quarter to go. We're almost to the games that really, really matter, and I'm looking forward to some playoff basketball, man. I really am. Like, as much as I love basketball, I'm a basketball junkie. Sometimes, like, a full 82-game season it kind of wears on you a little bit, and you just get a little antsy at getting to the playoff games that really matter, because it's a different level of intensity, it's a higher level of play, and it's just such a joy to watch.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but like this NBA season overall, not even just the Lakers, just hasn't really felt the same for me. It's probably the least amount of basketball I've watched pretty much every Lakers game, but other than that, haven't watched a whole lot of basketball this year. So
it hasn't seemed normal until about this last week or so, when teams started to really jockey for position and really ramp up their intensity.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the playoffs starting and kind of getting invested again, because there's really nothing like playoff basketball, man. That is a very, very fun time of the year, and it's such a crazy, weird season for the Lakers especially, and going into it as simultaneously favorites to get out of the West and underdogs because of their seeding. It'll be really, really fun to see how things shape up. Hashtag we believe.
All right, I put a comment in the Facebook comments because I've been asked now probably 3-4 times to show the game, and we cannot. So it's all the people on Facebook too. So I apologize if it came across as that we would be streaming the game, but it is not the case. So
yes. Plus, I mean, trust me, you don't really want to watch the rest of this. Oh, LeBron is in the game.
LeBron has checked in. So I kind of assumed that when he was doing some jump roping on the sideline that they would at least anticipate him coming back. So hopefully it's a short stint, put together a little run, and put this game away, and let's get out of there and let's prep for Golden State.
Yeah, just at this point, just get out of here healthy. Don't really care about anything else.
I mentioned in the last game the win percentage according to ESPN. Lakers right now are at 96.1%. Of course, I think as soon as I brought it up in the last game, Indiana made a run and got within 2 or 3 with a few minutes left. So, but we didn't have Alex Caruso in that game.
Very good point.
Win percentage should be 99.9% because Alex Caruso is playing.
Just from the tip, it should be 99. What in the world?
If the Pelicans do make a run and get really close, I'm not mentioning the win percentage anymore. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, God. I don't want to see any more Lakers crashing into bodies and then the floor the rest of this game.
Yeah, I agree. None of that.
First it was Kuzma, and now it was Schroeder on the drive attempt there. So let's avoid that. The only other game right now that really has any significance of West seeding that is in jeopardy is that Clippers Thunder game. The Thunder are up by 3 with 5.5 minutes to go. So we've mentioned it a couple times. If you're just tuning in, the Clippers, if they lose that game, will stay at 4 and be put on the opposite end of the opposite side of the West bracket, assuming the Lakers win their first playoff game against the Golden State Warriors.
That was nasty.
Hopefully Jackson Hayes is okay, because that was kind of a
Very, very ugly foul.
ugly foul and fall, being helped off the court. So hopefully he's okay. You don't want to see, especially just anybody, ever get injured, but especially in the last game, one that really doesn't mean anything for either team at this point. So.
Little just stupid stat thing is hold on. LeBron needs, I believe, 6 more points to keep his 6 more points to keep his streak of 25 points per game seasons going, which is all the way since his sophomore year in the NBA.
Wow. That's crazy.
It would be his lowest scoring. I think either way it's going to be his lowest scoring season since his rookie year. But
which is crazy as a, mostly a pass first player, a guy that has always been the best facilitator usually on his team, to be able to just naturally score 25 plus a game for that long is something else, man. All right, keep an eye on that Clippers score. 108-106. Thunder up 2, 3 minutes left. I still have a feeling that they're going to wait to tank harder than the Clippers. I mean, they've had plenty of experience and practice with it this year. That still gut feeling says the Thunder find a way to lose that game. Let's look at. I want to see who their lineup even is right now. Yeah, I couldn't tell you who half of these guys are, except for my boy Tony Bradley.
Former future Laker Tony Bradley.
Yeah, I don't know. That's bad, man. That's really bad. Let's see. So Hayes looks like went to the locker room, which means the Lakers could choose who shoots free throws for the Pelicans, right?
Yeah.
Is that rule still
Yeah.
in effect? Yeah, it was a really, really hard fall for Hayes, man. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
And it
Very
looks
weird one because he didn't like fall over Mark trying to draw a charge or anything. He fell around him and just kind of.
Yeah, it landed pretty hard on that right hip, it looked like, but
Yeah. And he wasn't putting any weight on his leg, which is kind of strange. I don't know exactly.
Hey, well, Wendy and Gabriel made 2 free throws, so Lakers still up 8. Still a long way to go in this game. 9:40 to go. Clippers just took the lead on the Thunder. 1:58 left in that game. Which means we could see Clippers-Lakers in the second round if they hold on to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville LeBron confidently shoots the three. I mean, even when he doesn't have a ton of space, like I love when he's confident.
Yeah. Just opens up so much more.
Mm. The rotation's been kind of interesting these last 2 games as well. Obviously, we didn't see Caruso yesterday. I don't think we've seen Montrezl Harrell yet in this game, so probably going to have a day off for him. So Lakers still getting rest for some guys and probably doing maybe a little experimenting here and there, trying some different combos and stuff like that, but. Lakers do have a really good chance here to really kind of salt this one away, I think. They get a nice little two-minute push.
Yep.
Put together a little run. I think you can get LeBron out of there. You can get some of your main rotation players out of there. You can get, I don't know, like Kaycock some minutes, McKinney some minutes. Really start to dig to the end of the bench there.
I don't know if Jared Dudley's active. Would love to see some duds.
Yeah, let's get some
cigar
duds.
minutes.
Some duds minutes. Oh, Thunder tied it up.
Ooh-wee. I want that game to go to overtime. It'd be hilarious. They both deserve it for tanking like this.
It's looking like Dallas is going to lose. I mean, they still got some time, but they're down 17 at Minnesota. So if the Lakers do win, that would force a 3-way tie, right?
Yes. And then Dallas would be 5th, Portland would be 6th, and the Lakers would be 7th. Ooh. Come on, just foul LeBron, let him get his one extra point. That's all he needs. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. There it is.
And now it'll be time for him to check out of the game.
Yeah. And of course, it looks like he might have tweaked that ankle a little bit on that layup.
Yeah, let's maybe take a foul and just get him out at this point. Thunder are up by 2 with 57 seconds to play. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to this being a thing throughout the entirety of the playoffs. The Thunder just hit a 3 with 28 seconds left. They're up by 3.
Let's go. Scared money don't make money.
Let's see. So that would mean we would probably, if Oklahoma City doesn't lose, means we get a rematch, right? Clippers, Mavs is the 4-5.
Yeah.
And then we get Nuggets, Blazers, and Thunder just went up 5 with 5 seconds left. So it's looking like the Clippers are going to finish as the 4 seed, and that game shows zeros on the clock on my screen. So looks like the Nuggets get away with not trying to win this game today, and they'll stay at 3, and the Nuggets will be 4.
Yep.
It's looking more like we'll get Dallas at 5, Portland at 6, and then we'll see how 7 and 8 unfold. But the Lakers will be 7 going into the play-in game, and hopefully the Lakers win. Obviously, the first play-in game, and then I'd be lying if I said I don't normally root for the Warriors, but I would love to see Steph Curry against the Utah Jazz in the first round.
I just want to see the 7th and 8th seeds both winning in the first round. That'd be incredible. Even though I think the Warriors would probably get destroyed by the Jazz, but
yeah. Okay, so pulling up these seeding scenarios. So it looks like for Portland to get the 5, they do need the Pelicans to win. There's two scenarios, so you were right. So they need it to be a 2-way tie, it looks like.
correct. Yeah, they have the head-to-head tiebreaker on the Mavs, but when it's a 3-way tie, because the Mavs won their division, they would be the 5th seed.
Gotcha. Okay, so so really, I mean, this game still has the Blazers and the Mavs will be watching this game still to see if they get 5 or 6. Which right now I would rather have 6, I think, and I'd rather play Denver than instead of the Clippers as the 4 seed. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I think the Clippers are quite a bit more of a threat than the Nuggets are.
I would agree 100%. Especially without Jamal Murray. If Murray was playing, I might feel differently. But now, if you're the Clippers, do you want to play the Mavs or do you want to play the Blazers in the first round? Because the Lakers kind of hold your destiny on that.
I think I'd want to play the Mavs.
I think so too.
I mean, I don't think the Blazers are that good either. I mean, we watched them struggle to beat a Lakers team that was very, very shorthanded and had no point guards, no ball handlers, basically. Just THT buries a triple. Let's go, baby. But I don't know. I think the Clippers would beat either of those two teams, in all honesty. But I think I'd rather play Dallas because there's really one player you have to worry about, whereas Portland has two guys, and then they've got some role players that could have games where they can be problematic.
Yeah, I think there's so. I mean, they had quite a bit of struggles with the Mavericks last year in the first round too. And I mean, if Porzingis doesn't get, I think he got ejected in one game or fouled out or something, and then he also got injured. Oh, hey, we got a THT wedgie. That series definitely could have gone a different way. But I also think the Mavs not having Seth Curry is a pretty big deal in that sort of series. I think having that sort of player to kind of just help make the load a little bit easier on Luka is very much needed against the Clippers.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is I think Damian Lillard sees red every time Paul George is on the floor with him, so maybe that's a little scary, but
true, but he does. Paul George has never had playoff Rondo in his corner when he's played Damian Lillard.
Yeah, that's true. We know exactly how that's gone for Lillard before, twice.
That guy is something else, man. Rondo just totally does not care about the regular season. Just it's very obvious that he saves his legs for the playoffs and then really cranks it up. We do get some Jared Dudley minutes. All right.
Yeah, buddy.
At this point, up 13, up 11 with 3.5 minutes to go. I would like to see us get like Kaycock and McKinney out there for Kuzma, Gasol. Let's get Wesley Matthews off the floor.
Yeah. I don't know who the inactives are. I guess if Dodge is active. There's a possession you're about to see here where Kuzma's begging for an alley from Wesley Matthews and doesn't get it.
Oh my god. This game just needs to end. Holy crap.
Yeah, I don't know why this is... I mean, I guess it's not really that long because it started at 6. It's going about as long as an NBA game goes, but it feels like it's been a 4-hour game.
Yeah. Kuzma trying a little Dirk action.
Yeah.
This is like one of those that it's like, yes, I would like to simulate the last 2 minutes of the game. We would just like everybody to stay healthy. Little running hook though off the glass from Kuz. I like it.
Yeah,
I feel like it's been a minute since we've seen one of those from him.
I was just reading this. He's tried the Kobe / T-Mac off the glass to himself alley-oop, a Dirk fadeaway, and Magic Johnson running hook in the same game, and made two of the three.
All right, so we got a timeout. Lakers are up 107-96, so this game is pretty much wrapped up. Even with them scoring 16 points so far in the fourth quarter, they've managed to hold serve, have a nice little cushion, and looks like they're going to end the season on a little 5-game win streak as they go into the playoffs and finish as the 7 seed going into the play-in. So they could obviously stay at 7. They could fall to 8, or they could fall out of the playoffs altogether if they lose back-to-back games. But we'll have to see what the time slot looks like. But the 2 play-in games for the East will be on Tuesday. What do we have? We have Celtics and Wizards and Hornets and who's the 10? Why can't I think of it? Indy, right?
Yes. Yeah, Indy is the 10th.
So we'll obviously be big Wizards fans on Tuesday. I guess I would imagine that means that because the playoffs themselves start Saturday, correct?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Because you'd get a day off in between the 2 play-in games for each side. So it's gonna be nerve-wracking, but it's gonna be exciting too. It's kind of the duality of playoff games, right? Like it's extremely nerve-wracking, but man, it's exhilarating when you win them.
Yeah, it's very much going to be stressful. We haven't really had, we definitely haven't had a play-in situation for the Lakers ever. It's not quite a Game 7, but pretty close to it. So it's going to be very, very intense.
It's essentially a Game 6 that you're up 3-2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly
you've got a little wiggle room, but if you lose that Game 6, all of a sudden, get a little tight.
Get sweaty. Yeah. I need to know from other people in Southern California. Spectrum always, well, not always, but during some breaks, they'll show like these little factoids. Like the one that just came out was Mark and Pau Gasol are the first pair of brothers to ever play for the Lakers. They've been doing this, I think, for most of the season, if not all of it. I don't think I've seen any that are not about Mark Gasol. I don't know if that's true or not, or if it's because there was a different Mark one in this game, and my brain is like playing tricks on me, but I need somebody to confirm that. Have they seen any that is not Mark Gasol? Because that's a weird thing to happen.
Just got to show some love for the Gasol. We talked about that when we first got on. Just nothing but love for the Gasol family.
Absolutely.
Great family. There he is. There's McKinney. I've called for him a couple times. Gets in on the action.
Yes, sir.
It'll be really good to see playoff games too, not in the bubble, and having like some fans in attendance.
Yeah, definitely missed that. As great as the playoffs were last year, especially for the Lakers, not having that atmosphere was sorely missed. And I don't know how many people are going to be at Staples. I don't think it's a lot, but maybe they raised the limit a little bit. But even having a few people just give some MVP chants here and there for Alex Caruso would be great.
Yeah, it's I do miss that. I came across like a YouTube video that was like loudest like playoff crowd moments or something like that in the NBA, and it's like, man, I miss full capacity crowds at playoff games, man, because it's something else. Like especially when you get those like big shots, like obviously like the Ori 3, Kobe's game winner against the Suns, like moments like those, man, it just makes it truly special. So hopefully next season we can get full capacity crowds again and get things really back to normal, and it'd be nice to see the Lakers hold up a Larry O'Brien trophy in front of a sold out Staples Center crowd.
Before I continue on that, the play-in schedule is out, so the Lakers and Warriors game is going to be on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN.
Okay.
So it's 7 p.m. local time. And the game is going to be in LA.
So that means the other game was San Antonio, Memphis would be before that.
Yep.
All right. All right. Well, it is a final. The Lakers beat the New Orleans Pelicans 110-98. As a result of the other games around the league, the Lakers will go into the play-in, as Honi just said, on Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. So adjust your schedules accordingly. Lakers have a date with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. It's funny, LeBron and Steph, even after these last couple years of not running into each other, they find their way back to each other in a playoff type situation, and I'm sure the league is going to love it. I'm sure the league loves that it's going to be LeBron against Steph, and it'll be an interesting game because the Warriors have been playing some really good basketball lately, and it's I like the way the Lakers match up with the Warriors, but anytime you got a guy like Steph Curry on the other side, man, it's an ultimate wild card for an underdog type team that they can beat you if that guy gets hot.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge. I don't think the Warriors are a team to take lightly. Like you said, I'm optimistic about how the Lakers match up against them. I think they have more talent, and I think just straight up putting AD at the 5 should be enough for the Lakers to really beat the Warriors at their own game. But yeah, Steph Curry is, at his peak, a top 5 player in the league, and that's probably being harsh. He's just a crazy offensive threat that can make anything out of nothing. And he obviously carried his team to a win today to get that 8th spot, give them 2 chances to make the playoffs. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really scared about anybody for the Lakers, but as an individual, there are few players more scary than Steph Curry, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like it isn't a perfect comparison, but it kind of makes me think of the Suns in 06 and 07 running into the Lakers. They obviously were more talented in those first round matchups. But the other, the underdog had Kobe Bryant on the team, yep. So that alone gave them a fighting chance. And this is a 1 game thing, and that's the thing with, not that this is single elimination, but in a single game scenario, you see it all the time with like college basketball, March Madness, the NFL with their playoffs. You see some random upsets and teams that you didn't think could make it to a certain point. Sometimes, like the Giants, I think one year with like Eli Manning, where I think the 60, like the second wild card, they win the Super Bowl. Those single game situations, anything can happen. So even though, Honi, I agree with you, I'm very confident the Lakers should win this game against the Golden State Warriors on Wednesday, but not going to count Golden State out because they have Steph Curry. They've got some guys that have been there. Draymond Green, obviously, 3-time champion. Wiggins has been a much better basketball player this year. So they seem to figure some stuff out here as of late. So they're gonna be a tough game, man. And the Lakers are gonna have to be ready. And it's now it's big boy basketball time, and they're gonna have to be prepared and ready to go. And there can't be any lapses anywhere. You just gotta play at a high level all the time and bring it, because now you're playing the best of the best every single night.
Yeah, and it's just such a unique sort of experience. The Lakers last year and LeBron teams in general usually take kind of the first game of the playoffs and first game of series kind of off. They're just kind of feeling their way through it. Tend to lose a lot of those games because of that reason. They obviously lost 2 or 3 straight game 1s in the playoffs last year. So it's going to be really interesting that they go from a couple of not super intense games. Obviously, they wanted to win both of these, but for the most part, because they didn't have control of their own destiny, it wasn't as high pressure going from that to then immediately sort of again, not quite a game 7 because if they lose, they still have another chance, but about as close to that as you can get in a single game series, if you want to call it that, against a dangerous team with a superstar that can really just burn you at any point. And with a team that hasn't fully played together in this sort of scenario. Obviously, a lot of the core players have, but there's a lot of new pieces that haven't played with these guys in the playoff situation, and kind of being able to hit the ground running is, I think, going to be a challenge for them. But if they can do it, then that really just raises the confidence of the team and obviously the fans in them. If they can come out and just take care of business in that first game, win comfortably if they can, and go into the playoffs feeling pretty damn good about their chances against a really good Suns team.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So, all right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Honi and I are going to look to record a pod and do a stream here in the next 2 days, one of the off days, getting ready for that Warriors play-in game. Doing a full preview on that, so I don't want to expand my thoughts too much on that. Save it for either Monday night or Tuesday night. So we'll break down that game a little more in depth here in the next 2 days, and really go over what we think might happen in that play-in game, and hopefully the Lakers show up ready to go, and we can really start the run for number 18 and try and go back to back and defend the crown, and the Lakers can fight through a ton of adversity this season and still end it with a championship. It would be amazing. I'm excited for this opportunity for them to make history, to be potentially the lowest seeded team to ever win the title. Would be pretty sweet considering it's been a very wild year. So, and if they end up setting the standard of a team going from play-in tournament to winning the title, and I guess the second year of the play-in tournament existing, that would be pretty special. I mean, could potentially end up being like the only team to ever do that. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that would happen. It would be extremely rare. It would take some extreme circumstances like we've seen this year with the Lakers having their 2 best players miss roughly half the season or so. It's a little weird, but hey, Lakers have a chance to make history and be a 7 or 8 seed that wins the title. So pretty cool opportunity. I'm just looking at it from glass half full kind of thing. So, all right, we're going to get out of here, but we will see you guys either Monday night or Tuesday night to break down that play-in game against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Thanks again for those of you that tuned in. Going to look to do these more in the playoffs. Obviously, it'll be a little more higher intensity with these last 2 games, not meaning a ton in terms of wins and losses, but now the games all really matter. So excited for it. Excited for the games to start. Excited to do that with you guys, and hopefully watch some of these games live with you. And this has been fun. These last couple of games, I've enjoyed kind of the interactions with some of you guys during the games and stuff like that. So So until we preview the play-in game between Lakers and Warriors on Wednesday, we'll see you guys here in the next 2 days, and we'll talk about that. So with Honi Ahmadian, I am Gary Kester, and the Lakers Outsiders, signing off.
Shout out to Jeff Withy for getting dunked on by Xavier Henry that one time.